All right, welcome back for another deep dive.
Always exciting.
Today, we're tackling, I guess you could say, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oof, a classic.
Yeah, I think it's one that a lot of people have probably heard of,
For sure.
maybe even read, but it's one of those that I think is good to revisit,
Definitely.
because it really challenges, I think, a lot of the traditional thinking around money.
It definitely does. One of the first things that always gets me is Kiyosaki talks about, having two dads, right?
Yeah.
His biological father and then his best friend's father.
Yeah.
So it's like these two contrasting views of money, like right from the get-go.
It's like having two different financial mentors.
Yeah.
And so you have, his biological father, poor dad, who believes in that kind of traditional path. Get good grades, get a good education, get a secure job security, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And then you have, rich dad, who was his friend's father, who actually dropped out of school, but built a business empire.
Right. And he uses that to kind of, highlight the importance of financial literacy. Like it's something that we don't really get taught in traditional education, right?
Right.
And there's that great anecdote where I think it's his son who tells him, why do I need good grades if I'm going to be rich anyway?
Yeah. It's like, whoa, that really makes you stop and think, right?
Totally.
Like, are we really preparing our kids for the real world?
Mm-hmm.
The financial world especially.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like, you're working hard, maybe you get that promotion, you got a raise,
Mm-hmm.
but you're still kind of like treading water financially. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's the feeling that Kiyosaki really describes as the rat race, right? It's
Yeah.
like you're on this treadmill, you're working harder, you're earning more, you're spending more,
Yeah.
but you're not really getting ahead. You're not building any real wealth.
And he has that great anecdote about being stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
And guess who he sees right there beside him?
Who?
His accountant and his banker.
Oh, no.
So it's like even the people who are, supposed to be good with money, they're caught in this trap too.
Exactly. And I think that's where his kind of unique perspective on assets and liabilities comes in, because he kind of flips the script on how we normally think about these terms, right?
Right.
So like an asset to Kiyosaki is anything that puts money in your pocket,
Yeah.
whereas a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket.
So it's not about what it's called, right?
Yeah.
It's about the cash flow.
Exactly.
Like he even uses the example of, your house,
Yeah.
which traditionally is seen as an asset.
Yeah.
Right? But he's like, well, if it's costing you more than it's generating,
Uh-huh.
then really it's a liability.
It's a liability. That's so interesting, right? Like it makes you think about your spending habits.
Yeah.
And whether you're buying things that are truly assets or just kind of like piling up liabilities that keep you stuck in that rat race.
And he talks about how confusing it was to look up like asset in the dictionary.
Really?
Like the traditional definition is so complex. It's like, are they trying to keep this a secret from us?
Like it's some big mystery.
Yeah. So he likes to keep things simple, right?
Yeah.
So he's basically saying building wealth is about building a column of assets.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's like you're building this machine that generates income for you even while you sleep.
I love that. A money-making machine.
Yeah. Like Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, he famously said he wasn't in the hamburger business, he was in the real estate business.
Oh, wow.
Because he focused on owning the land.
Oh, I see.
Under the franchises, right?
Yeah.
So he built up this massive asset base. And Kiyosaki himself, he achieved financial independence by investing in real estate while still working at Xerox.
So it's not about like quitting your job tomorrow.
Right, exactly.
It's about building that asset column alongside what you're already doing.
It gives you a lot of hope, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can create a path towards financial freedom. It doesn't have to be, win the lottery or, become some overnight sensation.
Exactly.
But let's be real.
Uh-huh.
It's not always easy to shift your mindset and start taking action.
Right. And that's where his kind of 10 steps to awaken your financial genius comes in. And he identifies 5 kind of main obstacles, I guess you could say, to building wealth.
Okay, what are those? Let's break those down.
Okay, right.
Okay. So first, I think, we all experience this fear.
Oh, yeah.
Fear can really paralyze us from making investments or taking risks.
For sure.
And he says, great story about buying a cheap condo in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
During a market downturn, right?
Yeah.
And his friend was like all set to invest with him.
Uh-huh.
and then backed out at the last minute because of fear.
Oof. I bet that friend regretted that.
Big time, right?
Yeah.
But it just shows you how powerful fear can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's cynicism, right?
Oh, yeah. That little voice in your head that's like, it's too good to be true.
Yeah, exactly. Or, I'll never be able to do that.
Yeah.
So cynicism can really kind of kill your motivation
Yeah.
before you even get started.
Uh-huh.
And let's be honest, sometimes laziness is a factor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. We have these great intentions.
Mm-hmm.
But it actually takes effort, right?
Yeah.
To actually take action and be disciplined.
So you've got laziness and then, bad habits.
Oh, yeah. Those bad habits.
They can sabotage our progress, right?
For sure.
Like maybe we overspend, we don't track our finances,
Yeah.
we procrastinate on making important financial decisions.
Exactly.
And then finally, I think, sometimes it's arrogance.
Oh, yeah.
We think we know it all, you
Yeah.
know. And so we refuse to learn new things or seek advice.
That's a tough one.
Right.
Yeah.
So all of these mental roadblocks,
Yeah.
they can really hold us back
Absolutely.
from reaching our financial goals, right?
Yeah. But I love that Kiyosaki offers solutions, right?
Yes.
Like he has those 10 steps.
Yeah.
We'll get into those in a bit.
Okay.
But I think one that really resonates with me and maybe with our listeners is finding a reason greater than reality.
Yeah, it was about having a strong why. Why do you want to achieve financial freedom? It can't just be about wanting more money.
No.
It needs to be something that really motivates you,
Mhm.
something that will keep you going
Yeah.
when things get tough. And then another one that he talks about is choosing your friends carefully. And I know it sounds, maybe a little harsh, but,
Yeah.
he's not saying ditch your friends who are struggling financially.
Right.
But surrounding yourself with people who are financially savvy can be so beneficial.
For sure.
You can learn from their experiences, you can gain new perspectives, maybe even find mentors
Yeah.
who can guide you.
I love that. Like you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then another thing that he talks about is mastering a formula and then learning a new one.
Oh, interesting.
So he's really big on continuous learning. Right?
Lifelong learning.
Lifelong learning, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like learning a new language,
Yeah.
right? You don't just stop once you know the basics.
You got to keep going.
You got to keep learning, keep expanding your vocabulary, become more fluent, right?
Absolutely.
And financial knowledge is always evolving.
For sure.
We need to stay ahead of the curve. So it's not just about reading one book
Right.
or attending one seminar.
Yeah.
It's about really embracing that lifelong learning when it comes to finances.
I love that.
And then another really crucial step, I think, for achieving financial freedom is paying yourself first. And this is really about shifting your mindset, I think,
Oh, how so?
from, spending what's left over
Yeah.
to prioritizing your savings and investments.
From the start.
From the start, exactly. So it's like strengthening a muscle, you know?
Yeah.
The more you practice prioritizing your financial well-being,
Uh-huh.
the easier it becomes. And that's really the foundation, I think, for breaking free from that rat race
Totally.
and achieving true financial freedom.
Love it. So we're talking about building that asset column, but I'm curious about how.
Yeah.
What are some specific ways that Kiyosaki suggests that we do that?
Well, let's dive into that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, he's a big advocate for real estate.
Okay.
He sees it as a tangible asset,
Uh-huh.
that can generate both income and appreciation.
Yeah.
He shares quite a few stories about how, he built his wealth through real estate,
Yeah.
buying properties, remember that story about buying that small condo in Phoenix?
Oh, yeah. During that downturn
Yeah.
when the market dipped.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great story.
And his friend who backed out, because of fear, I mean, what a missed opportunity, right?
Totally.
But what about, I think for a lot of people, they're not ready to become, real estate moguls,
Right.
right? So
Right.
are there other options?
Absolutely. He also talks about investing in businesses.
Okay.
Either starting your own or buying into existing ones.
Okay.
But he really stresses the importance of understanding financial statements and being able to assess the value of a business.
So it's not just about throwing money at any opportunity.
Exactly.
You need to be smart about it, right?
Yeah.
Like do your due diligence.
You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, it sounds that kind of goes back to, his emphasis on
Uh-huh.
financial literacy,
Oh, absolutely.
like constantly learning and growing.
Yeah.
And he doesn't shy away from the topic of taxes either.
Oh, that's a good one.
He actually argues that most people work from January to May just to pay the government.
I know, right?
It's crazy, right?
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Makes you think.
Makes you realize how important it is
Yeah.
to understand the tax code,
Yeah.
and how to legally use it to your advantage.
Yeah, to play the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Smartly.
He gives examples of how, wealthy individuals and corporations use different strategies to minimize their tax burden,
Yeah.
all within the law, of course.
Of course. Yeah.
But all of this takes time and effort.
For sure.
It's not about, get rich quick schemes or winning the lottery.
It's a long game.
Yeah.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, he emphasizes the importance of delayed gratification.
Okay.
Right? You need to be patient and consistent with your investments. Let the power of compounding work its magic.
Compounding, I love that.
Yeah.
The snowball effect.
Exactly. It just keeps growing and growing.
Yeah.
He talks about building his own real estate portfolio gradually through, careful planning and calculated risks.
Yeah, you got to have a strategy.
Yeah, it's not just, randomly buying stuff.
No.
But just like in a marathon, there will be obstacles.
Oh, for sure.
Along the way, right?
Yeah.
He talks about overcoming the fear of failure.
Yeah.
He actually believes that failure is an essential part
Oh, interesting.
of the learning process.
So it's like it's okay to fail.
Yeah. You got to make mistakes
Yeah.
to learn from them. Right.
Right.
He argues that successful people, they learn from their mistakes.
Okay.
And they use those experiences to grow and improve.
I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot.
He even uses this fascinating analogy.
Oh, what is it?
The Battle of the Alamo. Remember the Alamo?
The Alamo. Yes, of course. Texas history, right?
Yeah. Pivotal moment.
Yeah, pivotal moment.
Right.
Yeah.
So he points out how Texans, they don't bury their failures.
Oh, that's interesting.
They turn them into rallying cries.
Right. Oh, I see.
Remember the Alamo?
Right.
Right. It becomes this symbol of resilience and determination.
So powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's not about, dwelling on the loss. It's about using it as fuel to move forward.
Yeah, to keep going.
So instead of being afraid to fail, we should embrace it, as a stepping stone to success.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if you hate losing, you're just going to play it safe.
Yeah, you're not going to grow.
And you'll miss out on opportunities.
Yeah, you'll miss out on the big wins.
Yeah.
Right. But he goes even further than that.
Yeah.
He talks about inventing money.
Inventing money.
Which, it sounds a little mysterious, doesn't it?
It does. Does he
Yeah.
does he have a secret money-making machine in his basement or something?
I wish. But no, what he's talking about is the ability to see opportunities that others miss.
I see. He uses the example of Alexander Graham Bell.
Oh, wow.
Trying to sell his telephone patent to Western Union for like a mere $100,000.
$100,000 for the telephone. Oh, man.
Can you imagine?
They must have regretted that.
Big time, right?
Yeah.
But they just couldn't see the potential.
Wow.
It's a reminder that groundbreaking ideas are often met with resistance.
Yeah, especially from people who are just stuck in their old ways of thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
So inventing money is about thinking outside the box, right?
Yeah.
Being innovative.
Yeah. And seeing the value in things that others might overlook.
Yeah. And in today's world, everything's changing so fast. It's like information is the new wealth, right?
That's a good point.
Like those who can, access and utilize information effectively, they're going to have a huge advantage.
Huge advantage.
Right. And so Kiyosaki, he encourages us to become sophisticated investors, people who can analyze opportunities, manage risk, and make informed decisions.
You're not just following the herd.
Exactly.
You're doing your research. You're thinking for yourself.
And you're also, surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
Like mentors, advisors, people who've already achieved the level of success you want.
Exactly, like we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. It's about aligning yourself with people who share your vision and can guide you on that path to financial freedom.
And I think Kiyosaki does a fantastic job of making all these concepts really relatable,
How so?
through his through his personal anecdotes and stories,
Yeah.
you know?
He's a great storyteller.
He is.
Yeah.
He shares his own experiences,
Yeah.
both successes and failures,
Oh, I see.
you know, to illustrate his points.
It makes it so much more real
Yeah,
than
exactly.
just reading, some dry textbook.
Right. Right, like the story about buying that condo in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it highlights the importance of taking action,
Okay.
even when faced with uncertainty,
Yeah.
and having the courage to seize an opportunity.
Love it. His writing style, I feel like it's very engaging
It is.
and conversational.
Yeah.
It's like he's just sitting here with us,
Uh-huh.
sharing his wisdom over a cup of coffee or something.
Totally.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to challenge conventional wisdom.
Yeah.
He really wants us to think critically about our own beliefs about money.
Yeah, and one of the most, I think, controversial ideas he presents
What is it?
is his view on homeownership.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
He argues that your home
Yeah.
is actually a liability
What?
if it's draining your cash flow every month.
But that goes against what everybody thinks.
It does.
Right?
It does.
It's a really thought-provoking perspective, though.
It is.
Makes you really consider what an asset really is.
Yeah. He encourages us to focus on building a portfolio of income-generating assets
Okay.
rather than tying up our money in a property that might not be producing cash flow.
So it's about looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Not just the traditional way of thinking about things.
Exactly. And it's especially relevant, I think, in today's economic climate.
Yeah, with housing prices going crazy.
Going crazy, exactly.
That's the thing.
So what are some of the key takeaways you've gleaned from Rich Dad, Poor Dad so far?
For me, it's the importance of financial literacy. He really drives home the point that everyone should have at least a basic understanding of how money works.
Yeah, it's about taking control.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Not just relying on luck or what other people tell you to do.
Right, be empowered to make your own decisions about your finances.
Exactly. He believes that that's essential for, breaking the cycle of poverty.
Yeah. Creating a more equitable society.
And it's not just about, individual wealth, right?
Right.
It's about opportunity.
Opportunity for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it's not enough to just understand it.
Right.
You have to actually take action.
You got to do something.
Gotta do something.
He encourages people to, start small, maybe set up a budget,
Yeah, little steps.
track their expenses,
Mhm.
or maybe, invest a small amount of money.
Build that momentum.
Yeah, build that momentum and develop those positive habits.
Yeah, that'll pay off in the long run.
Exactly.
He emphasizes that financial freedom is really possible
Yeah.
for anyone who's willing to put in the effort.
It's not about, luck or privilege.
All right.
It's about making that choice.
A conscious choice
Yeah, a conscious choice to become financially literate
to take control.
and develop that wealth-building mindset.
I love that. And what really struck me?
What's that?
He's not just talking about making money.
Yeah.
He's talking about using your financial intelligence to live a more fulfilling life.
To have choices.
Choices.
Yeah.
Freedom.
The freedom to pursue your passions.
Yeah. Without being limited by finances.
Without those constraints. It's about thinking bigger,
Yeah.
dreaming bigger
Using your wealth to create a better future.
for yourself and for others.
Absolutely.
Right.
So to do that, we have to be willing to, challenge those old ways of thinking.
Step outside that comfort zone.
Yeah, step outside that comfort zone. So
Excellent.
his message is really a call to action, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
He wants us to really rethink our relationship with money.
Educate ourselves.
Educate ourselves.
Take control.
Take control. All right. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Yeah.
I want you to think about what resonated with you.
Yeah, what really stood out?
What stood out to you from our discussion today?
How can you apply these ideas to your own life?
Yeah. Yeah.
To your own financial goals.
What small step can you take today to start building that asset column?
To escape that rat race.
Escape that rat race.
Yeah. Remember, you have the power
You have the power.
to shape your financial future.
Don't be afraid to challenge the status quo.
Embrace those failures. They're just learning opportunity.
Learning opportunities. And never stop learning.
Never stop learning.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
We hope you found it insightful and empowering. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into a topic that will help you level up your knowledge and live a richer life in every sense of the word.